gathering. My dad went to Otterbein College, by the way. So, yeah, small world. Anyway, Temeka began her career as a young entrepreneur by founding and managing a coffee house. Having achieved success at a young age, Dr. T, is that the preference? Realized her true passion lay in enabling others to do the same. She has spent a decade working in education and nonprofits, serving in various leadership roles, helping organizations and individuals fulfill their goals, transitioning from the role of college professor, a couple in the room. Dr. T founded the nonprofit LeadCity Youth, where she currently serves as the executive director. Dr. T. Brandtley's passion is demonstrated through the organization's In School program, where she empowers students to make a social impact by teaching leadership, entrepreneurship, and project management. Dedicated to being the change she wants to see, Dr. T serves in the community on local nonprofit boards and on other initiatives as a Rotarian to make an impact. And she is happily married with an adorable, amazing son. Her Lead is here to cheer her on. Thank you for being here.
My son was so vocal, I almost thought he was the presenter for today. But it's good to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I have it shared.
Oprah once said, if there is a problem or a challenge in the community or the world that disturbs you, it's probably because you are or you have a solution. So in other words, you can be the change. So I'm going to ask a golden question because I'm in the room with fellow Rotarians. And that question is, who wants to change the world? Who wants to change the world? Okay, I see hands going up, a couple heads nodding, and that's common language, right? Because as Rotarians, service is in our fabric. It's who we are, it's what we do, right? It's what we're all about. We set out to change the world and make a difference. But sometimes, even as Rotarians, even as servant leaders, just looking at all of the challenges in the world, looking at all the problems that need to be solved in our community, sometimes, if we're honest, it can be a little overwhelming to try to figure out how do we navigate this? How do we even navigate this as a Rotary Club to make a difference in all these different areas? How do we create this reach? How do we do this even creatively to get others to want to be a part of what we're doing? Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to want to take on all of that, right? So every year we look at different pockets of what we can do. Because that sense of wanting to do it all can be a little bit overwhelming. But in looking at this, I want to talk today about what I believe is a part of the solution. And that solution is our youth. Do you believe that youth are tomorrow's leaders?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, I know we just had lunch, so I just want to make sure. All right, I got one person that believes that. And I truly believe that youth have the energy, they have the creativity, and they have the passion to help make a difference. So today I'm going to talk about our organization, LeadCity, and what we do is empower students to make a social impact. And I believe that you'll find that this is our mission is aligned with the mission of Rotary and the work that we're aiming to do together internationally. Okay, you get it up?
It's there, but I think it's on speaker views.
Yeah, we're not being recorded. Oh.
Yeah. Technology. Go back and I.
Sorry, I did see that. I did see that.
Oh, we can do slides, it just not be
Yeah.
full screen.
Just do it over.
Very.
There you go.
All right. All right, so just give a little background on myself and how I made my way to LeadCity. So as an educator, I saw a gap that was occurring with building our future leaders. And in addition to that, I saw a need for us to grow Rotary. Being at my age, I still consider myself young. I think about the future of Rotary a lot, and now that I'm a mom, I think about what is Rotary in the future of this world going to be for him. And thinking of all those things, that led to the creation of LeadCity Youth. So my husband, Tony Brandtley, and I co-founded LeadCity Youth to address these issues, to build future leaders, to help grow Rotary, and to make an impact on the community. I just beat them.
Sorry.
So I'm not just here to give a presentation. I really want to make this a conversation. So let's chat a little bit before I give you a whole bunch of information that I want to dump on you about LeadCity Youth. I hope that leads to some further discussion. But for the brevity of time, I want you to think about this question. What's a skill that you gained as an adult that you wish you knew as a teenager? What's a skill?
German, learning German.
Learning German. Oh, that is an impressive skill. How do you say hello? How do you say hello in German?
When I learned German. Das ist ganz, zu tun. Hallo.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I studied Chinese in college, so I know ni hao. I'm impressed.
One of the things that I wish I had known when I think when we're young, I did at least, see the world in terms of black and white. And don't understand the various shades of gray and all the gradients that are in between. So I think the gift of nuance and discernment is something that's important.
Yeah, yeah. Powerful skill if we had that as teenagers, right? To change our lens completely.
Financial, like, how do you check?
Still working on that.
So mine's a little different. I was homeschooled, and in my teenage years, we actually had books on how to finance and do checkbooks, but I didn't learn how to network. Actual, like the different talking and the conversations.
Yeah. Powerful skills that's needed, right? Eric, doesn't have?
Accounting, that's what
Accounting.
somebody already took. I took accounting when I was about 36. Should have taken it in college, but.
Confidence.
Confidence. Yeah,
Not a lot of teenage girls have.
that is very true, especially with social media. It's kind of having an impact on self-esteem and studies out there showing that. So as we think about some of these skills, think about some of the things that were mentioned and even some skills that you were kind of going through in your mind, and think about the impact it could have had if you learned finances, or if you built your confidence, if you gained that wisdom of discernment, if you learn different languages and all these things during your teenage years. Think about the impact that could have had. Think about the impact it could have had if you were given a mentor, such as yourself, to help walk alongside you as you was learning these things. Anyone agree that that could have made somewhat of a difference?
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons we created LeadCity Youth, because we are doing just that. We are equipping youth with these skills, these basic life skills that many of you talked about, and we're giving them opportunities to put those skills into practice. And while we're doing that, they're creating a better future. So LeadCity Youth, we are a nonprofit organization. We provide an in-school program for middle school and high school students. We go into classrooms, we teach students basic skills, many of the skills that you mentioned, and we give them an opportunity to apply those skills by creating a project to address a community challenge that resonates with them. So they're gaining skills and they're learning how to apply them. Because if we be truthful, some of the skills that we even learned as teenagers, we didn't get a chance to apply them. Maybe we learned different leadership skills, but many of us didn't get a chance to apply them until college or our career, or even settings like Rotary. So we give students opportunity to apply those skills in real time. And while we're doing it, they're becoming servant leaders without us just putting up a definition and saying, this is what you need to be. They're able to act it out by doing these service projects that they created. And that's how we change the world. So, since we're still on this slide, I'll talk a little bit about our goals. So this year we have a goal to reach 100 partners, 100 volunteers, and 100 students. And I want to tell you a little bit more about LeadCity Youth and why those numbers are important for us and what we're doing. So, has anyone heard the term social change agents?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, who can tell me what a social change agent is? I'm a professor, so it's just in me. You're gonna answer. Anyone know what a social change agent is? Or what comes to mind when we say social change agent?
Someone who promotes actual change. Yeah, that's cool.
I think of someone like
Right.
the young woman, Greta, I can't think of her name, but she's from Sweden and she is all about saving the environment. She is definitely, in my mind, a social change agent. Greta Thunberg, thank you.
Yeah, oh, that's it.
Yeah, to me, it's related to social and economic development. It's anybody who can support the advancement of humans at the economical level and the connection level, supports the social advancement of the community in general.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So these are all great examples of social change agents. Seeing the need, going after it, and making a difference, right? And we can go back to that's fine. So when we're talking about social change agents, that's who makes up LeadCity Youth. Without our social change agents, we would not be able to do this work. So when we go into schools, when we do this work, alongside us are volunteers who want to make a change. They work alongside us to mentor students as they work on their projects, and then they go out with students to help them implement those projects in the community. So the volunteers who serve as coaches, the volunteers who help us in the work behind the scenes, help us to really make a difference in the community, because our students do a lot of different projects, and we can't do it alone. Those individuals are referred to as social change agents because we believe that they're all making a change with us. So let's talk a little bit about what we do. So our school program can be broken down into 3 parts. First, we have school sessions. So we provide a 12-week program where we send an instructor into the classroom to teach students these basic skills that we talked about. So they learn project management, they learn leadership, they learn entrepreneurship, a lot of the skills that you mentioned, finance, communication, leadership, servant leadership. So they learn all those things throughout our program. And then we move to the second stage, which is the student projects. They work in teams of 4 or 5, and they create a project for the program, and they do that by identifying community cause that they want to address. So that cause can be anything that resonates with them. They go through a process where they determine if it's homelessness, or if it's education, is it social justice. And a lot of students were really looking at health because of COVID. So they look at different causes in the community to determine what cause do we as a team want to address, and then they create a project to address it. So that project can maybe be a traditional service initiative where they go out and give gift bags to the homeless population, or it can be something creative where they create crazy socks with a motivational message, which is something that a student actually did, and go out and hand that to the community. And for their service element of it, They had their volunteers do a run where they did a run around throughout the city and they dropped off these positive messages to the homeless population. So what I'm trying to show you is that it's a different spin on the work that we're doing, but it creates this exciting movement to want to do more, and it really encourages young people to do this work. But it also encourages others who see us doing the work and make them want to be a part of it. And that's when they begin to question, what is Rotary and how can I be a part of that fun stuff that they're doing over there? So it's really work that we can do together to really expand the work, to expand the service that we're already doing. I got one clap over here, all right. So how do we do this? We build, lead, serve. So we build student skills by teaching them leadership, entrepreneurship, and project management. So they're learning that through our instruction that's based on the national curriculum. Then we take them into a process of leading. So they work in groups of 4 or 5, and they learn how to lead by serving in different roles on their teams. So one role may be the communicator, one role may be the meeting lead. So they serve in different roles so they can practice those skills. And then they apply those skills by creating this project. And then we wrap up with the survey. So they actually lead the service project. So this is where a lot of Rotary clubs appreciate this part because the burden is not on you to put it all together. You just have to show up and support them in the process. So they're responsible for getting the agenda together, putting the schedule, creating the list, and putting all those things in the background. They just need people to help support what they're doing. Thank you. So our students work really hard on these projects, and I received one of the best compliments that I ever heard a while back when we first started the program, and the student basically said, "This program changed my life." And now when people ask, "Why do you do this work?" I simply give that quote. I share that quote from this young lady because she was quiet. She didn't seem to want to engage in the program that much. But by the end of the program, she was the most vocal. She was one of our first grant recipients to receive funding for her project. And you would have seen this individual go from in her shell to standing up front. And to hear her get that compliment, let us know that we're on the right track. And we're at least, we know we're doing something right. When we see students share that, and we see students really encouraged by the program in that way. So as I wrap up, I go back to my question, and my question is, who wants to change the world? But I asked that question, who wants to change that world, and our students to help do it in the process? So think about that. And if you can see yourself being a part of that mission, and if something resonated with you today, I ask you to join us in this mission and what we're doing and help be the change. Because students are the future. They are the current leaders who are going to build tomorrow's future. And for me, this mission is more important than ever. Because I constantly think about what is the future for my son? What are we going to create for him and young people like him to ensure that he's coming into a better future, he's coming to a better place in the future. My son was kind of throwing me off. I had to see what I did. So I'm just going to touch on this as I wrap up. If I invited you over to my house for dinner, I would not stop you at the door and say, "Hey, I cooked this wonderful meal. I want you to write a check because it's a great meal, and I've been preparing it all day." But I might tell you what it took to create the meal because I'm a great chef. I'm more of a HelloFresh.
In all fairness.
Like to go into all chopping and So with that in mind, I'm not here to ask for a check, I'm not here to say, hey, I got this great meal that we put together, but I do want to tell you a little bit of what it took or what it takes to put this gourmet meal together. Is that okay?
Yep.
So this year, we revamped and relaunched LeadCity Youth. I transitioned from my role as a professor to focusing full-time on LeadCity Youth because the time is now. So with that, we set out to reach 100. We started our campaign of Impact 100. This campaign is going to allow us to reach more students. We started in classrooms, doing this program in classrooms with schools. Every year we select schools to partner with, and they receive this program at no cost. This program takes a burden off the teacher because teachers don't really get breaks anymore. But when our program comes in, teachers' faces light up. You know why? Because they get a chance to relax, and we do our program, they actually get a break. So we expanded the program from schools to now religious organizations and other youth serving organizations. In addition to that, we have ramped up what we're offering to our students, providing them with specific things that they need to really be able to engage in the program, going virtual, doing some things that's online, in addition to being in the classroom. So with that work, we kicked off our campaign, Impact 100, and our goal is to reach 100 partners, 100 volunteers, and 100 students. So we're looking for individuals who want to be social change agents and join us in this mission and lend their talent, time, and treasure, whatever resonates with them, so that we can really impact the world and make a difference right here in Charlotte. We go to the last one. Oh, no, you can see that. So in looking at the partnership and what this means for Rotary, so you heard me talk a lot about growing Rotary. And if you know me, then you know that this has been a conversation that I have a lot. Looking at the synergy between our program and Rotary, Rotary focuses on the local community. We focus on the same. We're trying to align the schools close with the Rotaries that want to partner with us this year. In addition to that, brand awareness. When you partner with us, you get awareness through the different mediums that we are promoting our program through. Even today's program, you'll find that a lot of people have already looked into Dilworth just from knowing that I was going to be speaking here today, and some of them are actually online. So just that brand awareness really helps. And when I talk about brand awareness, I'm talking about my generation, because what they're looking for is service opportunities, fun service opportunities where they can connect and have fun together and do things out in the community. So the way that we share what we're doing really connects with them. And we recognize our partners. And most importantly, we have what I like to say, cool volunteer opportunities. So you get a chance to work alongside students, and if you don't do it alone, it's guided. You don't have to come in with skills. You live life and have the skill down to this need. We have 2 volunteers per student team, so it's 4 to 5 per team, so you're not by yourself. And it is a 12-week commitment that we just ask of you to work alongside our students. The last one. So I want to wrap up here, and I just ask if anything in terms of support, we just ask that you follow us on social media. You can find us on LinkedIn and Facebook just to keep up and see what we're doing. Maybe there is a project, or maybe there's something that you would like to come out to and just see how our program runs. We also welcome you to come and see what we're doing at the school. If you want to come out for a lesson to see what the program looks like, we welcome volunteers to come out and do that. But you can follow us at LeadCity on Facebook and LeadCity Youth on LinkedIn. So I want to wrap up here. If there's any questions that I can answer.
A couple of questions. First first of all, how do you interact, and if you have any relationship with them? Secondly, do you have, have you had any conversation with, Patricia Schaefer at New Gen Peace Builders? Because they are doing a very similar project type activity in our schools.
Yeah.
Just, what's the overlap?
Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to speak with Patricia. In the past, Winnie and I have been in communication. Winnie actually came out to our program and served as a volunteer a year or two back.
Okay.
So we haven't engaged with them yet, but the beauty of the program is that our setup allows Interact and Rotary to be a part of a project that they don't necessarily have to put together. So they come in as mentors, they come in as guides on those programs, and gives them an opportunity to be a part of initiatives and not feel that overwhelming, not have that overwhelming feeling I have to put together, I have to figure it all out, but they can learn alongside the students and implement the projects.
Yeah, it just seems like Interact, if a school has an existing Interact program, it seems like that would be a natural cohort for you to work with. But if they don't, it seems like there could be a symbiotic relationship in terms of you putting together a group of kids who could form an Interact group.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a big selling feature for Rotary clubs. If you could say, hey guys, we can get you possibly an Interact club out of this.
Absolutely, so it works twofold, right? So if you already have a Rotary Club, this is how you get your Rotary Club engaged. So I've been very involved with youth through SFTL.
Yes.
Missing this year.
I know.
Interact, Rotary, so many of you probably know me for the national nonprofit that I used to work with. So I worked on a national level with a lot of interactive Rotary programs. The same thing, I found the same thing no matter what city or state it was. Most interactive Rotary clubs are to get them engaged and keep them going, right? So the beauty of the synergy between that and our program is if you have an Interact club already in place, all you do is just let them know about this opportunity and they are able to kind of serve more so as the mentors and really take on that leadership role because we've already engaged them as Rotarians to kind of learn some of these things. So they're serving as mentors. And it really helps them to get engaged and not feel that overwhelming feeling of, I have to put this together. Because that's what a lot of them say, like, I don't know how to put all of this together, I don't know how to do it. And same thing for Rotary. College students always tell me, I have a lot on my plate, but I do want to serve. So here's your opportunity.
So your program is, I heard you saying, leading teachers are excited to see you. So this is going through school season, you're in the schools
We're in the schools.
during the school year.
Yeah, yep. So we're in the school during the school year. During the first 2 months of school, we just work with teachers. We do, as a courtesy to the school, we do workshops and things for teachers as they come back. And then we kick off our program, which is also part of our buy-in. And then we kick off our program. And we work with 1 or 2 classrooms for the first half, and then we do the same for the second half after they come back from winter break.
So what schools are you in now? Are you targeting any other schools?
Yeah, so right now we are currently in Sugar Creek Charter. And we are looking at 2 schools for next school year. And I'll be transparent and say a big part of whether or not the number of schools we serve is contingent on us meeting our goals.
Sure.
We've been trying to do this Internet Club at Sedgeville. And I think it's the same issue, we can't get a teacher to.
Right.
Yeah.
We need this one.
Yeah, so, and teachers buy into this, so my background is K-12 and higher education. So I kind of have a secret weapon in terms of what teachers do. But teachers in schools buy into it, simply because a lot of programs, they feel like, oh, I have extra tasks. But the way we're designed, we come in and say, hey, this is your your free period. You can work on the things that you need and in some cases, as long as they have the space for us to do it, we'll take students into another room. Because we have the skills, I don't need a teacher there, or my volunteer who works with me, we don't need teachers there to manage the students. So they can literally have that free period. And then especially on the days where our mentors come in, teachers that's a whole hour that they don't have to engage with the students, and it makes a huge difference.
Sure.
Teachers are very much overworked right now, so we're just delighted that we can kind of serve them in that sense.
Do you react and split a class as a unit or just people in the class?
We work with a class as a unit, that's our current
It's
requirement.
kind of hard for the teacher to walk away.
That's our current requirement, but as our program grows, we'll have a little bit more flexibility in what that looks like.
Tamika, as you're looking at what schools to reach out to, are you reaching out just to the individual schools, or in the case of CMS, are you reaching out to the central office of the district?
Yeah, so we reach out to the individual schools.
Okay.
So right now, some of the schools that, and organizations that we work with, have been based on one, need, and then numbered, when I say need in terms of identifying schools that are in areas that may be underserved, and number two, based on maybe recommendation.
I think it might be a good idea now that there's been a leadership change at CMS. And I'll just say, without going into too much detail, things have changed. And there's a relatively new director of strategic partnerships named David Lewis, who might be good to get to know. I haven't had a chance, I've met with him, I haven't met with the superintendent yet, but having met Damon, there may be some opportunities.
Oh, that's good to know.
Maybe
Thank
something
you.
to look into.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Thank you. Okay, we got one thing, and then we're closing. Right,
Okay.
raffle. So we're do the raffle, and then we're closing, and we're gonna make sure, they have the information, because.
Yes, we agree.
Take all that.
Oh,